Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California's sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
That's right. What's happening, y'all? It's hump day, baby. Time to holla at the homie. And I'm the homie, 360, the poet. That's THAPOET. Make sure you spell it right because it means something. That's right. It stands for tenacity, heart, and attitude. Presents opportunities every time. Let me make sure we clean and clear over here on all my cameras. Let me see. You clean over here? You clear? Yep. You clean and clear on this one? Yep. Everybody clean and clear on the cameras. Oh, you said other cams. Okay, well, we're going to figure that out, too. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to figure my ninjas. But there it is. Anyway, we back in this thing like wedgie, baby. So what's happening, y'all? We back for another Wednesday, another hump day. That means it's time to get with your homeboy, your favorite homie in the world. That's 360 the poet, baby. That's me. Oh, my goodness. They're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Killing me, Smalls. Killing me. With all these other instructions on my cameras and things like that, we just going to do it just like this. And there it is. We in the game like the sixth man. All right, there we go. So here we go. Y'all know what we're doing. This is the number one spot for your online or in-person type of thing. What's up, Gregory Gerard? 217, stand up. What's up, homeboy? Good to see you on here. Glad to see when my family from the crib check in with you. Yeah, people always ask me, 360, where you from, man? Because you're a little bit different in the way you move. I tell people all the time, I'm from California, Nevada. And the only way I can explain that, I was born and raised in Danville, Illinois. Grew up in Southern California. Went to become a man and got all my grown-up-ish taken care of in Nashville, Tennessee. Then I set my roots right out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So all the places take a really big part of who I am. But my roots, my number one born and raised roots, is a 217, baby. Stand up right there in the center of the heart of the country. Right there on the border of Illinois, Indiana, and Danville, baby. DeVille. But, yeah, always good to see my folks checking in, my people checking in with me at all given times, right? So, like I said, it's the number one spot for your online or in-person advice column right here. Like I always like to let people know. What's up, Lucy Lowe, babe, in the building? I always like to let people know that I have not been trained in any way, shape, form, or fashion in any type of psychology, psychiatry, counseling, anything like that, right? But what I have done is I like to let people know I've lived a very, very, very colorful life. And in that colorful life, I've been able to soak up some game and be able to squeeze that back out to y'all right here on the airways. We see what we're going to do right here in full effect. Yeah, man. So that's what we're doing out here in this thing. It's Holla at the Homie time, baby. It's Wednesday, and that's what we do each and every Wednesday on Hot 7025 FM or on my Instagram Live, my Facebook Live, or right here on YouTube. That's how we do it in this thing, y'all. So here we are once again, back in the thing, back in the swing of things. You know, we posted up from the bat location, so I had to give y'all some secret knockout sauce before y'all able to walk up in this thing. Can't let you know exactly where we be at, but we having a good time wherever I am, y'all. So to all the people that's been asking, how's my recovery? I'm back on my feet, ready to hit the ground running. And I thank all y'all for your prayers and stuff like that, right? But we're going to get into a letter. We always got people who send in letters to us who ask some questions, and they trying to find out exactly how to get these questions answered. So they come to the homie and the rest of my own line homies that's able to kind of fill in the blanks for us as well. I love when people tap in and tune in and try to give their point of view as well, because it's not all about my perspective, right? It's not always about like how good I can answer a question. It's not about those things. What it is about is making sure that the question gets answered to the best of the ability for anybody that might be having any questions going on inside their head, right? So we're going to do like we always do, dive straight into this letter. What's up, Tyson Coleman? Another 217, stand up. Man, Greg, I forgot to tell you, I just got that picture. It's got me, you, and Tyson in that thing from back when we was playing football for the Lincoln Park Raiders back in the day. We was at Garfield Park, but we played Lincoln Park Raiders, you know. So I'm meant to post that picture up just as a reminiscent thing, because there's some old school head busters out there on that field. Tyson was out there hard hitting ass. But we're gonna dive straight into it. Dear Holla at the Homie, first off, much love and respect for the space that y'all hold. I never thought I'd be writing into a podcast, but I'm sitting on something heavy and can use some outside perspective from people who keep it real. I'm a fraternal twin. My sister and I are close, always have been. We grew up with just our mom in the picture and for most of our lives, and our dad was in and out and then eventually in for real. He's currently serving time. Recently, during one of our rare conversations and visits with him, he dropped the bombshell that we have siblings, plural, kids he had with other women around the same time as he had us. Now, my sister took the news with more grace than I ever could muster. She's already talking about reaching out, trying to find these siblings, maybe connect and see if there's anything worth building. Me, on the other hand, I'm not there. I don't know if I want to be there, if I feel blindsided, or like the original story has cracked me wide open. I'm angry, confused, and honestly not sure if I want to complicate my life by inviting in total strangers, no matter what the blood test says. But now here's the quiet tension, but now there's quiet tension between my sister and me. She says it's our choice what we do individually, but I can tell she wants me on this journey with her. That's what we've always done things together. But for the first time, I'm feeling pulled in a different direction. So here's my question, homie. How do I navigate this? Is it selfish to want to leave the past buried, or am I wrong for not wanting to reach out? And how do I support my sister without feeling like I'm betraying myself? Appreciate you and the colleagues for any help or the space that you can help me navigate and be vulnerable and still be heard. Signed, Reluctant Twin in Transition. Woo! What's up, the real DJ Count? Another one of the homies out there on that thing. Bam Timmerman, what's happening with you? My sister. See, that's crazy that this subject popped up today and then my sister pops on, because she and I share the same dad, right? We don't share the same mom, and we found out about each other not too late in life, but not from the beginning, right? So that's why I'm able to kind of dive into this with a little bit of understanding for what's happening, right? So, Bam, I'm glad you popped on today. Appreciate you, sissy. You know, so she's like the middle kid in my frame, because I got AG that's older and I got Bam that's in the middle, and then, you know, it's like me, right? But then, of course, I got my sister cousins, you know, Shavy Shamar, and I got Chanel, and I also got Rachel. These are all people who, you know, I grew up as almost like siblings. But now, you know, that, you know, these are siblings in my life, and this has content dealing with finding out you have newer siblings going on in your life, right? So now, with that being said, we're gonna dive straight into this. First and foremost, what's your name? Reluctant Twin in Transition. I want to say thank you first and foremost for trusting us with something so vulnerable and something so layered, right? What I mean by that is it's like an onion. You got so many different things that you can peel off from this to try to get to the heart of what's going on. Denver Brigham, what's 217 is in the building representing. That's the big homie right there, D Brig in the building. He used to play for them Raiders too. Everybody that's on the line right now play for them Lincoln Park Raiders. So that's what I'm talking about. Everybody been out there at Garfield Park. Everybody had them good old cheeseburgers that came from the concession stand. Everybody been to that swimming pool out there, right? So, it just is what it is, but like, so the thing about this is it's vulnerable, it's layered, and you're not alone in this situation. You say Papa was a rolling, exactly. That's what I said too, Denver. Papa was a Rolling Stone. He what's up, Corey? 72. Like Papa was a Rolling Stone in this instance. He was somebody that was out there in them streets. His address was in them streets. And like a lot of us back in the day, our dads were out in them streets. A lot of us may have even been fathers who have been in them streets and have to have delivered this information or have held this information from somebody. Like, but like the thing about it is you're not alone in this is what I'm saying. And you're not alone in your confusion. You're not alone in your hesitation to say something. And you're not alone in your pain because there are other people who have experienced something similar to this, but have not had the opportunity to really kind of like tap in and find out how to get this question answered. So hopefully I'm reaching out and speaking to some of them as well. Right. So like, first, let me start with the easy part. You're not selfish. You're not even close to being selfish, feeling the way you feeling. Okay. I want you to understand that you're not being selfish. You're just being human. When someone drops a bomb on you like this, or metaphorically pulls the rug from under your feet, from under your story, especially something as foundational as like, who am I related to? Who's in my family? That's a chin check. That's a gut punch. That's everything you can think of it being and not being prepared for it, right? What you say, G Neezy, aka Jalen Gregory? Exactly. That's G Gerard, that tall, lanky. If y'all, the two people that's on there talking right now, they tall, and I ain't gonna say they lanky no more because they grown ass men. They got some girth to them now. But when we grew up, they both was just tall, towered over me. Everybody know I ain't never been the tallest, right? So again, so this is a good question for people to ask you, like, who's in my family? It irritates your identity, meaning like you don't really know who you are as far as in regards where are you in line. As you may have thought you were the oldest by a few minutes, you may have thought you were the youngest by a few minutes, but now you don't know where you are in place in line as far as your sibling tree. So it irritates your identity. It tramples on your trust. What's up, Carmen McDaniel? You say, I think it's valid for the twin who is hesitant to feel that way. You only bring up past hurts for the family. Okay, and this is true. You know what I mean? And their father built the relationship. It's his child's shoe. Every other year, I have a new sibling. Carmen McDaniel said every other year she got a new sibling. And that's the thing. You know what I mean? And what you say, Eric Alexander, this is why my family's so big. The men in my family were something else. And that's why I'm trying to let this twin understand, this reluctant twin in transition, know that they are not in this thing alone. There are other people online right now telling you their family grew exponentially unbeknownst to their past history and knowledge. Meaning, like, what happened between the start of when they were born and to when they found out? There's a lot of things that may have gone through your mind through that. You may have thought you were an only child. You may have thought that you and your twin sister were the only kids your parents ever had. And it's good that your dad, the one that told you, and it wasn't your mom. What's up, Dakari Kofi? It wasn't your mom that let you know. It was the dad that let you know. So you probably got siblings with the same last name. You know what I mean? So a lot of us understand, like, our parents our dads especially have had kids that were outside of our moms. And, and that's a real, don't get me wrong, it's a tough pill to swallow. Because like I said, it irritates your identity to find out this way. It tramples on your trust and it puts a pin in your peace. Because I'd say the most valuable thing outside of time is peace of mind. The most valuable commodity on this planet outside of time is peace of mind. And so if this has put a pin in your peace of mind and allowed all that air and thoughts that you thought were concealed inside of there, You got the right to be reluctant. Your reluctance, that's not being cold-hearted. That's called self-preservation. And peace of mind can only be attained by the person trying to get it. Nobody else can give you peace of mind. You have to have the wherewithal to possess that on your own. You have to have the understanding and the grip of what that means to you. And if this is disturbing that, then by all means, you have the right to feel a certain type of way. Right? You have the right, because you said right here, my sister took the news with more grace than I could ever even muster. Meaning, like, you mad, you big mad. And it's nothing wrong with your position. It's nothing wrong with feeling the way that you are feeling. If you big mad, be big mad, but know why you big mad. That's my one caveat to say to you. Know why you're mad. What's going on, Style and Diva 101? Another person out here that got siblings. But, Mama Linda already let y'all know who y'all siblings were. But you never know. Y'all might have some brothers and stuff out there. I'm just not going to put down nobody. You say, in our day, we didn't find out until the funerals. And laughing, but very serious. That's it. Gregory Gerard, Double G, you hit it right on the head, bro. A lot of times we don't find these things out until a funeral. So, yeah, it was another, tragic situation that got you to find out. You said your dad is in the pen. You know what I mean? You said your pops went away and he decided to give you this news on one of y'all visits. So if he decided to give you this news on one of y'all visits, this is similar to a funeral because he killed the idea of what you thought was your siblinghood. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. What you say, Denver Brigham? I got 4 beautiful children by 3 different mothers. Now, the kids didn't ask for it. They're just bonded in brother and sisterhood. I made sure of that, just being honest. And that's the thing. I got kids by different people. I had to drop some news like this on my children at one point. I found out, or it was in the wind that I had a kid that I wasn't even aware of. So when me dropping this on my children, my son and my daughter, later on in life, they were like, WTF, Dad? Like, nah, I don't know about all that. One of them was like, okay, cool. That's what's up. I got another sibling. One of them was like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I mean? Because, that means I got another one of me. Because sometimes if you're the only girl, you feel a certain way. If you're the only boy, you feel a certain way if you get another boy. So that's the thing. What'd you say, Vicky Porter? Vicky Porter said, I found out my dad wasn't my biological dad. And I found out that my bio dad has other children. I met them, and although I don't feel as we're close, I'm happy that we're in each other's lives. And that's a great take, Vicky Porter. That is a great take, MVP. I promise you like you say, even though you don't feel like y'all close, you happy that y'all in each other's lives. You're happy that you got a chance to at least discover some other bloodline that maybe, you never know. People may need a kidney later on down the line. You don't know what's the world coming to. I just didn't want nobody to find out about me on Ancestry.com. What'd you say, Lakeisha Ray? This is a very interesting topic for me. My sibling wants nothing to do with me, and I'm always perplexed by it. And that's what I wanted to convey to the reluctant twin in transition. I said, don't feel selfish about the way that the person is feeling. You got to kind of take it on, help them understand from their perspective, see it from their perspective as well. Like, you being human. When somebody does this to you and it kind of takes away what you foundationally thought was your solid life, it is jarring. It is a little bit disturbing to the spirit. So people going to take it in different ways. Yes, got my soursop going on. People going to take it in different ways. Like I said before, like this twin, he said his sister took it with more grace. So that means that she's moving towards what I would consider as curiosity. She's moving with curiosity. She wants to know. Maybe it's even a healing process for her. And I don't want you to block your healing, reluctant twin in transition just by being so balled up and angry about the situation. Being angry about it really is not going to have any resolution. Now, I'm not saying you now have the right to have a feeling in the way that you're feeling. I'm just helping you understand that holding on to that perplexed, angry feeling really is not going to get you to where you're trying to get. You wrote me a letter trying to find some reason to find. What you say? We're going to examine the mothers, though. You know what I'm saying? Because mama wasn't always right. And that's another thing. And you know what I'm saying? They said, you have to understand, some of these mamas out here got kids before these kids was born. They may have given them up, or, it's so many different ways that you can find out that your family tree has more branches than you originally thought. Because the trunk that created y'all, it may be your grandparents that got some kids out there that you ain't know. And now you got uncles and aunties, or they may have had kids with it's back in the day when we were kids. We're not kids anymore. But sometimes we found things out, like Gregory Girard said, at a funeral. Sometimes we find these things out. Sometimes somebody may need some blood or something, and you find out, well, maybe this ain't my biological person. I'm actually reading the book You by Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the Preacher, right now, and he found out that the dad that was taking care of him wasn't his biological dad, and it made him run away from home. So people handle this in so many different ways. Would you say it's not our fault? Sometimes it's a reminder of more pain than love. It can take time if we allow it. And that's the thing I want to convey to everybody. Thank you, Vicky Porter, for saying that. Sometimes it's just about taking the time necessary to digest it. And I'm not saying that you're going to come after you take this magic pill. Exactly. Sour side for the win. Exactly. After you take this magic pill of acceptance, you know what I mean? Like, what do you say? Baby, them trunks were out there trunk. And that's it. And that's it. You got to, and that's the truth. People out there getting it in. People out there getting it in. Once you take this magic pill of acceptance, I'm not saying it's going to make you cured of your anger or your disappointment or your confusion or your pain or it's not automatically going to bring you the peace that you're looking for, but it's pieces to the piece. You got to have pieces to the puzzle to make your peace. A little bit from here, a little bit from there. Again, nobody else can give you peace of mind. You have to willingly accept that for yourself and find out what that means to you. What does that mean for you to have that peace of mind, right? So again, if your sister is moving towards curiosity, it may be her form of healing. She may not be as upset as you on the surface, but she may be bubbling underneath, and this is a way for her to simmer it down. But that doesn't mean that you have to sprint behind her in her same train of thought. But the key is, if you want to keep the relationship with your sister solid, again, y'all twins. You got to hold space for her journey. That's what I was talking about before. Everybody's not going to handle it the same way, but you must give allowance and the space for people to take their journey. So your way they can respect your journey and give you that same space in return. She may be, again, helping herself mentally by diving into it this deep. And by her giving you the allowance to go about it your way, is her allowing herself to receive it in the way she needs to. So if you flip that coin, twin in transition, then maybe it may help you get through this with a little bit more ease. It may help you get through it with a little bit more understanding, because you're giving her space while honoring your own. Allowing her to take her journey while honoring and respecting your own journey. But in order to do that, you have to be able to give her that, space. I can't give a better word for it, because you're giving her the ability to take these in the way she needs to. Because y'all twins. But you got to let her know, sis, I love that you're open to meeting them. I'm loving the fact that you're there with it. But I'm just not there yet. But the one thing after that you have to say to your sister, your twin sister, is, I support you. I support you. But I need time to figure this out and what this means for me. What's up, A Group LV? Different breed with the gene code brought you to this planet. Grow up. Appreciate the fact that you are here, and open your arms to your bloodline with love regardless. Woo! Say it again, D. Brigham. Say it again. The gene pool got you here. Your daddy got you here. Your daddy got these other kids here. You know what I mean? Say it with, open your arms and embrace your bloodline. Again, he's telling you for a reason. He sat on it all these years. You grown. You said you and your sister grown. Y'all grown up twins. So he said, and they said they close in age to y'all. So they may be older. You know, there may have been a time when him and your mama wasn't seeing eye to eye. And he was like, you know, I'm out the house for 6 months and I still got my needs. You never know what may have occurred. He just lets you know that you got them. So this is an opportunity for you to open with arms wide open. Open your arms and embrace your bloodline. Denver Brigham put it the best right there. With love. Because, and like Vicky Porter said earlier, it's not your kid's fault. It's not your fault, not your twin sister's fault. It's not your new sibling's fault. You know, it's your daddy's fault. You know what I mean? What you say? That's a word. Lakeisha Ray said, open your arms and embrace your bloodline. That's a word. That's what I'm talking about. We have to salute people when they give us some gems. And that's a gem right there. Right? So this is an opportunity for you, reluctant twin in transition, to be like, man, these people speaking some true life into what's happening. What's up, Pammy? You know what I mean? As people are speaking true life into something that happens, because yes, true enough, the twins or the tightest siblings, all these things, we're going to have different emotional timelines. You know? What'd you say, Denver? Embrace the science if you're grown. And that's the thing. Like, you have to be able, if we truly are grown-ups and we understand that we make mistakes. So the people before us made some mistakes. Now we have to be able to learn how to move past these mistakes and learn from them. The mistake in this instance was secrecy. So now, if secrecy is what separated and put a crack in your love, for whether it be for your dad or whether it be for, you know, the humanity as a whole, if secrecy is what kept that crack there, the only bond for it is to be open and honest. Tell your siblings, like, hey, like, look, I just found out about y'all. It may take me a minute to figure out how to process this, but I acknowledge the fact that y'all here. And again, it's not our fault. It's daddy's fault. Or it may not, you know, whoever's fault it was. They mama may not have wanted them to know that they got other siblings. You know, and daddy just kept it to his chest, just being true and honest. Y'all mama may not have wanted y'all to know that y'all got other siblings. But you know, when a man sit in that cage, he ain't got nothing but time to think. Nothing but time to think. That man gave him a peace of mind that he needed while he's locked down. You know, so whatever the beginning to this situation was, you can't focus on that. You got to focus on the here and now. Right now, they here now. And now you know about them. You know, again, like I said, you and your twin sister have different emotional timelines. Just because y'all were born at the same time doesn't mean you're going to process everything the same way. With grace and gratitude, absolutely, Vicky Porter. Y'all have two different minds, two different hearts. But if you rock with your sister like the way you know, which that's wrong, no. I mean, and I get that. I get the fact that it's wrong. I am not taking up for the dad, Gregory. I'm not taking up for the pops for, you know, laying this on them right now. Or, you know, because again, like we say, we don't know what the origin of it is, why these parents didn't let this cat out the bag before, because you know mamas is quick to say, well, you know, you got a brother and sister across town, you old nasty daddy ain't tell y'all about. But you say the other twin should not pressure this twin to feel the same way she feels. The graceful twin should just go on the journey alone and build a relationship and leave this other twin out of it. And that's a take she can probably, and she might be on that route, Carmen McDaniel. She really might be on that. You know, you say mama might have lied. Many do. That's another thing. Mama might have lied and said these ain't your kids. You know, so that's what my daddy said. It didn't tell her in the car. My mom's didn't want me to know. And that's the thing. Like a lot of times the protector is really causing an issue. You know, just because you're trying to protect somebody doesn't mean that it's always going to be the right process. What'd you say, Lakeisha Ray? You say it. Hold on. It's hard when you have held daddy in such a high regard, and then you find out that he's not the superhero that you thought he was. Oh, and that's another thing. That fall from grace for a lot of parents, you know, is real. You know, that's why I extend grace to my siblings. Pops let him down, and it was a reminder of the harsh reality that Pops isn't the man that he thought he was. And that is a great way to look at it. So reluctant twin in transition. Lakeisha Ray said it. That's why she extends grace to her siblings that she found out about that still don't want to rock with her. Because this sibling feels like they dad let him down, and he ain't the man that he thought they daddy was because he didn't tell him about this sister. He said, what if it means a sibling without knowing because your mom or pops didn't tell you? Oh, and that's another thing. Greg Draw said, what if you mess with your sibling without knowing? Small town. Oh, definitely. Small town stuff. It definitely could have went down. Like if you don't know about your sibling in a small town, it's a high probability that y'all gonna sleep together. High probability. My hometown got less than 30,000 people. So, and all of them don't look like us. So if you mess with people that look like you and you don't know that they're related to this person, y'all gonna mess around and have some kids that end up looking just like y'all for real, because y'all the same DNA. So again, this is the reason why I promote people letting others know. Let the people know, like, hey, you know what? You might have a brother out there that, your daddy fine. So, I'm talking about my genes gonna attract you a little bit. Let them know in any way you can. Again, like I said, none of the parents that knew about this are right in this situation. Let's start with that. But I want this twin to help understand, like, you good to take your time. You good to, tell your sister that, you may be on a different journey than her. But like, the thing about it is, you don't owe anyone, including these new siblings, anything. Supporting your twin doesn't mean that you are abandoning yourself. Let me get that understood. Just because you support your sister, your twin sister, in her journey and her wanting to find out what's up with these siblings, just because you support her don't mean that you abandon your own feelings. You just rock with your sister. Like y'all came from the same, well, y'all different eggs because y'all fraternal, but y'all came out the JJ the same day, or out the stomach the same day, So y'all have been bonded. Y'all been fed by the same fallopian. Fed by the same feeding tube, So the thing about it is, just because you support her don't mean that you abandoning how you feel, my man. I want you to understand that. You don't owe anybody anything. You have to protect your peace. And, it's unprocessed hurt, to be honest. You haven't processed the pain of this. But like Gregory Girard said, like, get to know them, because you may have already hollered at, especially with the way of the world now, with all this online dating and, swipe left, swipe right. You may have looked at one of your sisters and be like, damn, she fine. And not even know that that's your sister. And now you're really going to be disappointed if you find out something along them lines. You're going to be mad at them and yourself, because then you have to point the finger at you. That's me, myself, and I. While you pointing at your dad, say, why you ain't tell me? Why you ain't tell me? Why you ain't tell me? Now it's me, myself, and I. Why didn't I go look? Why didn't those three people go find out? The only thing you owe anybody is yourself, honesty. You don't owe anybody anything but your honesty. So understand that I'm not trying to tell you how to move. I never tell people what to do. I just give you options of what can be done. And like other people are saying right here online right now, they're saying this situation has happened to them. So again, I want to reiterate the fact that you are not in this alone by yourself. It's 333. I love when angel numbers pop up. You are not in this fight alone. You say, Gregory, mad is exactly. What do you say, Lucy Lowe? The same support needs to be reciprocated from the other sister. If she doesn't want a relationship, if he doesn't want a relationship with the other siblings, he doesn't have to. And I get that. He doesn't have to. Like he said, he's a boy, she's a girl. They grew up together. They do everything together. But the sister is more embracing the new sibling, recognizing and embracing the new siblings more than what this other twin is. And again, I'm not knocking this twin if he doesn't want to make this relationship. I want everybody to understand I'm not forcing his hand. I'm just helping him understand that there are other ways. Parents develop trauma bonds. This is true. Exactly. Parents do form trauma bonds for people, for kids, for siblings, for everything that's involved, because your parents are who you look at for your everything. They are your everything. And for them to disappoint you in any way or not be who you thought they were in any way is a big blow to you. Oh, that's so disheartening to find out that, You know what I mean? If you find this, for instance, say if you find out your daddy on drugs and you never knew, or your mama, selling dope and been to the pen, or whatever. I'm just saying, like, if you find out something about your parents when they disappoint you, it is the biggest blow ever. What is it, Lakeisha Ray? Definitely not in this alone. There are so many of out here that share this story, or some form of it. This is the truth, and that's the thing. Like, I've been on both sides of this news to find out I had a sibling that I didn't know about from birth, and to have to tell my children that they may have a sibling that they didn't know about from birth. Now, later on, we went through and got some DNA stuff like that, but I still had to deliver this news. I had to deliver that news. And was there a comfortable conversation for me? Hell to the no. It was never a comfortable conversation for me. So I'm sure it wasn't a comfortable conversation for your dad. I'm sure that the mamas that may have hit it would say Michael Moore and Stephanie Murray were the best their kids their entire life. Exactly. Stephon's and Michael Moore, they were best friends and didn't even know they had the same daddy. But my cousins, they didn't even know they had the same dad. And that's the truth. Like, you can be tight with one of your brothers or your sisters and not even know that they're your brother or sister, and to find out later. Now, would you accept them then? That's an excellent point, Gregory Gerard. R.I.P. Michael Moore, cuz. Rest in peace. Like, that's a big point. That's an excellent point, Greg. Like, now, Mr. Reluctant Twin in transition, what if you found out one of your siblings was your dog? Or even worse, what if you found out they was your enemy? Exactly, corrected, Najee. You're right. What if they found out they were your enemy and you probably didn't know why? It's probably because there's something about this dude I don't like, I don't trust. If it's something about this dude I really rock with, man, I want to meet that dude over there. I want him to be my homeboy. And come to find out he your brother. Would you embrace them the same then? So again, your sister is taking a different route, a more accepting route. You say, how am I with my siblings that I found out about? Or what's the relationship like now? My sister, she was one of the first people to log on today. Bamber, and our relationship is distant, but we still got love. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's still even 30, 40 years. We found this out 40 years ago. 40 years ago, we found this out, right? And, our relationship is only distant because of the distance between us. But every time we see each other, we embrace. We still holiday call. We still birthday call, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, that relationship in itself, it has its, cracks in it, if you want to say that. But at the same time, I feel like it's a solid foundation to where we can have any open discussion about how we feel about each other at any given moment. That I can stand on and say, I believe Bam would say, how you feel about me, bro? And I can say, Sissy, let me tell you what I'm feeling, and we'd be able to receive it and accept it in that way. So, that in itself was a great question, Lakeisha Ray, because I can help this person understand, like, even if you found out later in life that this person is related to you, there's still a way to navigate through this without having angst or without having any ill feelings towards the person in which you share blood with, especially if they didn't know either. If neither one of y'all knew, or even if they did know. What'd you say, Bobby Neal? You say, crazy thing is with me, I met 3 of my sisters and 1 of my brother a year ago. We were all in the same age range. We say y'all grew up in adjacent neighborhoods. And that's the thing, that's what I'm tripping off of. This person, Reluctant Twin in transition, says that the kids are close in age. He said plural siblings. That let me know he got more than just one sibling. Like you say, Bobby, you met 3 of your sisters and 1 of your brothers a year ago. And you part of the DNF crew like me, damn near 50. We about to celebrate our 30-year class reunion in a month or so, right? Morning side stand up. So to find that out at that stage in life, and how are y'all now, Bobby? If you don't mind tapping in, letting us know, how are you now with your brother and your sisters? Are y'all cool? Do y'all chop it up? Do y'all talk? You know what I mean? Like the Kari Kofi, I know he can relate. He got Steven, he got Karani, they different OGs, but they pops is the same. So to find out these things, later on in life, I like to know how other people are digesting that. How I know Karani and Dakari, they thick as thieves. What you say? I graduated 10 years early. Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe 10 years later. You older than me, Bobby. But that's the thing. Like, gotta remember, even if you don't support your sister, even if you do support your sister in her journey, Mr. Reluctant Twin in transition, that don't mean you giving up on the way you feel. You know, you got to think, peace or pain, which one are you led by? Because it's your choice. Choices build the bridge. Would you say you're not as close as you would like? Okay, and that's completely understandable. Again, I'd love to be closer to my sibling as well. We got another brother out there, named Michael, that I met one time around when my grandma passed, when my granddaddy passed, and ain't seen him in years, you know, but he looked just like, when I say just like Junior, that could be Junior reincarnated, laughed and did the same thing with his fingers, all of that. And our family knew that things were a little bit different. Our family knew that things were, not on board. All of those things were discussed years before we even got a chance to meet and know each other. Would you say I'm thankful? I've known Karani my entire life. From an early age, we knew we were brothers, and that's dope. And that's why y'all relationship is. And the thing about it, y'all could have chose then not to be cool, but y'all been knowing each other your entire lives, and y'all the same age. Y'all the same age. You know, so that could have been detrimental to you as a person, you know, as a brother, but you didn't. You took it and you said you thankful that you've known each other your entire life. I'm thankful I've known both of y'all 30 plus years. I've known y'all 30 years. And y'all my brothers. You know, and we got different brothers from different mothers and sisters from different misters. What do you say, Bobby? 2 of my sisters are out there with me. Out there with you. I'll be hitting them up and that's what's up. Invite them to the 30-year reunion. Because we want to meet them. It's a reunion for them and for us. They get a chance to meet the people they missed meeting when we were all growing up. Because I've been knowing Bobby since I was in 8th grade. Since I was 13. Me and Bobby been friends almost, that's 35 years. That's 35 years. You know, so I never met him. I ain't never knew him. You know what I'm saying? And we went from middle school to high school and all the way on up together. You know? So again, the thing you got to make sure is you stay honest to yourself, reluctant twin in transition. You have to stay honest with yourself. Meaning, like, will this destroy me if I dive in and get involved with them? Because here's the thing about family. Blood may connect us, right? Like, you know what they say, the mafia said, blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. But the thing about it is, blood connects us, but choices that we make, like I said, build the bridge between us. These other siblings, they're not entitled to you. So let's start there. They're not entitled to you, and you're not obligated to show up for anyone you don't feel ready for. But one day, when the dust settles and when the emotions cool, you might feel curious too. You just might. And so I'm hoping that is the same for like Lakeisha Ray. I hope your brother comes around, and I hope he gets curiosity and wants to decide, like, what's my sister all about? Let me find out what's going on. What's going on, Carmel Kylie? What's my sister all about? You know, hopefully, and I'm prayerfully that occurs and y'all get a great bond, because it's nothing like the bond between siblings. It's nothing like it when you got a good one. And it's nothing more tumultuous when you got bad ones. I'm thankful I don't have any bad relationships with my siblings. I do not. I thank the heavens that I don't have bad relationships with my siblings. You know, but there are others who may. But the thing about it is, time and open-mindedness are the only healing processes for those relationships. You know, like I say, you might get curious. And if that day comes, you'll want to keep that door cracked just a little bit. You know, my thing is, don't burn a bridge without exploring what's on the other side of it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, cool Millio, what's up, baby? You don't, I got your Pittsburgh on today. You don't want to burn a bridge without knowing what's on the other side. That's foolish. That's foolish in my opinion. For one, I don't burn bridges. That's what I said. I can cross back over any bridge that I've ever crossed in my life. And I'm thankful to God for that. That's just how I move, though. You know, if I need to cross back over that bridge, I can. I can. Whether they still rock with me or not, they'll still give me passage because I don't burn bridges. So my thing is, if you're going to burn a bridge, do your recon first. Find out what's on the other side of that bridge. Check out what's across the ravine, this gap that's in between you and your siblings. Find out what's on the other side. That's what be my advice to you. You know, again, I'm never telling you what to do. I'm just giving you options of what can be done. You know, don't burn a bridge without exploring what's on the other side of it. And if it never comes, then that's okay too. If you never cross over that bridge to see, or if you never allow them to, you know, Billy go, let me cross to come on your side, then that's okay too. But it doesn't make you cold-hearted. It just makes you clear on what your take is, on what your position is. Would you say me? I'm not burning. You say me either. I'm not burning any bridges. And that's a wonderful. If you have that characteristic in you, not be a bridge burner, but to be a bridge builder. Anybody that ever pledged a fraternity or sorority knows something about some bridge building, right? If you don't be a bridge burner and you're a bridge builder, or at least somebody who keeps the bridge afloat. What's up, Vato, Dave, D.A., Pogue in the building? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are a person who allows that bridge to at least stand, then you're in a good position to start off, right? You never want to put fire to somewhere that you may have to revisit. You know, the most important thing in this is, you know, don't, you know, what I mean by that is, don't beat yourself up for feeling the way you feel. Facto loco forever. Don't beat yourself up for your decision, whichever way you may go. I want you to understand that. Like, I just implore that you don't burn the bridge. You can decide not to cross it and not be mad at yourself for that, but just don't burn it without at least doing your recon and finding out what's on the other side. Because again, like many people have said, the person that's the sibling that you don't know about, you may already know them. They may already be your best friend. They may already be your confidant. They may even be your boss at work. You may be their boss at work. You never know what position that person holds in your life because you've never met them in that capacity. Think about that. Like Gregory Girard made a great point about two of my cousins. They were best friends growing up and didn't even know they had the same daddy. Didn't even know that they were brothers. Even though if you look at them, they look just alike. Just one light with light eyes, the other one chocolate brown. They look just alike. Same facial structure, same walk, similar build. You know, one of them put on a little more weight, you know, because he liked to hit that iron. The other one liked to hoop a lot, so he kept that lean, slender look. But you could tell they brothers. And just like them, you may be out there talking and hanging out with your brother or your sister and not even know it. So do your recon. Okay? And the most important thing to this is don't let this moment put a wedge between you and your twin sister. That's the most important thing. Do not let this moment put a wedge between you and your twin sister. Like, y'all can walk in different paths and still walk beside each other. Know that. Just because you on a different path than somebody doesn't mean y'all not traveling parallel with one another. That's your twin sister. You know, everybody be like, what up, twin? You know, nowadays, everybody got a twin somewhere, but you really got one. And don't beat her up mentally, physically. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, don't dog her out just because she's choosing her path on how to handle these siblings that both of y'all just found out about. Now, I can see if she knew and you didn't know and she ain't tell you, be like, oh, no, that's foul ball, sister. That's foul ball. You know, I could see if that were the instance, but it's not. Okay? So, with that being said, what's up, Rashawn Taylor? What's cousin in the building? You know, with that being said, don't break that relationship bond between you and your sister just because y'all both found out that y'all got other siblings. Okay? It does, you know, that's the most important thing. Make sure you continue to walk with your sister because, like I said, just because y'all on different paths don't mean y'all not walking together. That's grown folks siblinghood right there. That's how real adults Oh, you missed. That's all right. You can always hit the replay, Rashawn. You get it'll be saved on here. Hit the replay. Tap in. We talking about a twin that found out that he and his twin sister got new siblings. Found out from their daddy, and that's close in age to them. So that's okay.